Hey guys, what's going on? It is David here. We're back with another video. Now, in this video, guys, we'll be talking about Duncan. And if you guys do not know who Duncan is a total drama character that from the famous show Total Drama Island, Total Drama Action, Total Drama World Tour, Total Drama All Stars, and even Total Drama Revenge of the Island. Now, when it comes to Duncan, what we're going to be talking about today is basically how his character got ruined throughout the season. Because I wanted to talk about this because Duncan is my favorite total drama character. And the way his character got ruined, his character was progressing throughout the 3 seasons. And then the 5th season, Total Drama All Stars, just completely Total Drama All Stars was like the first 3 seasons didn't even happen. And they were just like, yeah, Duncan, you're not going to be a bad guy anymore. We're going to write you into a good guy. We're going to slowly turn you good. And then you're going to have to prove yourself that you're still bad. And it's just like, why does Duncan have to prove that when he's already done bad stuff? Duncan was literally on the villains team from the stuff that he had done in the past 3 seasons from Total Drum Island, Action, World Tour. He was a villain. So why does he have to change who he is? But I mean, looking at Duncan throughout the Total Drama series, besides All Stars, and I'm not counting All Stars in terms of his finish, he has the best average finish of any Total Drama original character. Because in the first one, he finished 4th. In the second one, he won. And in the third one, World Tour, he finished 5th. So that means in the total of the 3 seasons for Total Drama, Duncan has the worst finish of 5th in the tournament or in the survival challenges. The reason why he got eliminated in the first season was kind of the stupid reason he got eliminated over what was it, Sticky Buns by Owen, and I guess they kind of had to go with that way because they were like, Duncan's a strong character. We have to make sure he goes out in a way that's like not really his fault, but some of the characters, because that way it will make the most sense. Which is why when Duncan is like, "Go for it, Owen," he's telling Owen to go for the totem pole. And then Owen goes past the totem pole and goes for his sticky buns. Duncan gets eliminated because I think he had a little rivalry with Chef, and I don't think Chef really liked him. But Duncan ended up finishing 4th. The final 3 ended up being Owen, Gwen, and Heather. Heather had to make it to the final 3 after everything that happened with her. Gwen, I don't know if Gwen should really made the final 3, and then Owen, he was a fan favorite, never really was in danger of getting eliminated throughout the whole season of Total Drama Island, so it was obvious he was going to make the final. And Duncan ended up finishing 4th, and as a Duncan fan, this is when they started the whole Duncan and Courtney type of thing, and we're going to get into that more when it gets to Action. And end of the season, Total Drama, Duncan ends up going for $1 million. He's paired up with Courtney. Courtney's like, oh, let's go get this $1 million. Duncan ends up fighting an alligator for Courtney, gets injured, and then Courtney's like, nah, I'm going to go for $1 million. Thank you, though. Thank you. I appreciate for what you did, but I want this $1 million over our relationship. And ended up being that Duncan went to Total Drama Action, but Courtney didn't, which kind of was ironic because Courtney was the one that left Duncan for $1 million, and Duncan ended up going to the second season to chase for $1 million. Courtney ended up coming back in the middle of the season of Action, and then they kind of teased the whole Duncan and Courtney relationship still before confirming in the final episode where Duncan wins $1 million and Courtney ends up kissing him and saying oh yeah, we're gonna be rich. I just want to keep in mind to you, I want to get this straight to you guys. I don't like Courtney. I really don't. I forgot how long it was, but I think it was a 62-page letter on everything that she does not like about him, and she expected him to memorize that within the space of 24 hours. Somebody did that to me, I would be like, how do you expect me to memorize this within the space of 24 hours? But Duncan did it for Courtney, ended up voting out Courtney. I would have done the same thing. Winning Total Drama Action, moving on into World Tour, and we kind of already get a tease that Duncan's kind of getting tired of Courtney, and he's moving on into Gwen, which is my favorite relationship in Total Drama. Now, the way they did the whole relationship, it was like Duncan really never. When Duncan left the show, they kind of broke up. I don't think Courtney and Duncan were together because Duncan would have done this other stuff with Courtney while like he was off the show. But I don't think they were together. I think Courtney just assumed that they were still together, even though Duncan never officially said that they got back together. Yes, they kissed, and it looked like they were getting back together in the special, but I don't think they were officially together. So when Duncan comes back in the London episode and ends up kissing Gwen, I don't believe at that point they were together because, like I said, Courtney was the one that was focused on Duncan and saying this about like, oh, I can't do this because of Duncan. That was Courtney. She did not go off of Duncan's experience. By this point, Duncan's already emotionally, like he's emotionally checked out and he's gone over to Gwen. So when the London episode happened and Duncan ends up kissing Gwen, it kind of makes sense because Duncan already had a thing for Gwen going back to Total Drama Island, so it made perfect sense. And even though that they went with the whole boyfriend stealing Gwen never stole Courtney's boyfriend because Gwen never really did anything to get involved in their relationship. Did she really before that happened, before the kiss happened? Not really. She was minding her own time. Yes, in the special, she gave her own opinion about when Duncan and Courtney broke up, which also, they never officially got back together. Kissing does not mean you're officially back together unless you say you are, and Duncan and Courtney never said that. So, Gwen did not steal Duncan from Courtney. Gwen waited her time. Duncan went to her. Duncan made the decision to leave Courtney and go over to Gwen, but they went on the point of Gwen stealing Courtney's boyfriend. So Gwen got labeled the boyfriend stealer. Gwen got voted out in possibly the one of the worst ways, where she had to feed, I forgot, it was eucalyptus leaves to a koala, and she was apparently allergic to it in World Tour. Ended up getting eliminated. But in terms of elimination, I think Courtney's elimination was so much respectable for Duncan and Gwen. Like seriously, her getting booted off with Blaney, and that was just so fun. It was just like, oh, I love seeing that scene. And then we get into later on in World Tour. Like Duncan and Gwen are together, they're happy together, and then we move on to the next relationship, which is going to be heading into All Stars. And All Stars, they're teasing. Sorry if you heard that. They're teasing that Duncan and Gwen are gonna break up because Gwen is focused mainly on being friends with Courtney. Might I add you, this is just the writers being stupid for Total Drama All Stars. How are you going to break up? I understand they broke up Duncan and Gwen, but the reasoning they broke up Duncan and Gwen was stupid. They were really stupid about it. Duncan was focused on the fact that Courtney was ignoring him. Courtney was ignoring both Gwen and Duncan. Both Gwen wanted attention from Courtney, Duncan wanted attention from Courtney, but when Duncan wanted attention from Courtney, it annoyed Gwen. When Gwen wanted attention from Courtney, she asked Duncan to do stuff for her to try and get back together friends with Courtney. She even said that, oh, Courtney keeps glaring at me. Would you give her a glare back? Duncan gives her a glare back. Courtney just blinks him and he's like, okay, like I've been used to having girls fight me, all this and all that. And then the fateful moment, Duncan kisses Gwen, says, was she looking? Gwen breaks up with him, and from there and that point forward, Duncan's character just went straight downhill. It went straight downhill. They had a scene. This character that was being so built up as a tough, strong character for 3 fucking seasons. They had a scene where he's emotionally breaking down, talking to a mom bird, and it's just like, why? Why? Why are you ruining this great character that was a badass and having him do this scene? And there's a whole bunch of more things. And then the final piece of the puzzle, Duncan ends up blowing Chris's mansion, goes to jail. We see a cutscene or a scene of him riding in jail, and that's the last time we've ever seen Duncan. And I can't even lie to you, I just went through that whole thing, talked about his relationship, talked about his finishes in the shows, and if you honestly don't think that Duncan's character was ruined, then you are not a total drama fan, because Duncan's character was one of the worst character derailments I've ever seen in total drama history. Like Total Drama All Stars did everything. They just completely went against everything that Total Drama Island, Total Drama Action, and Total Drama World Tour did. Because man, oh man, All Stars is not a good show. All Stars is not a good show. They have Duncan save Gwen. Of course, Duncan's going to save Gwen because that's Duncan's girlfriend. But that whole scene with the bird and then him trying to prove that he's already bad when he already has 3 seasons of stuff that he's done that's bad. Duncan's character was just terribly derailed, and the writers just never got to fix Duncan, and I hate to see that because, like I said, Duncan is my favorite character, but his character definitely got ruined.